Thank you, Susan, and good morning, and thank you for joining the official launch of the U.S. Gas Infrastructure Exports Initiative. As many of you know, the U.S. Trade and Development Agency is a project preparation arm of the United States government. We are built on a win-win model, where American exporters win by selling their goods around the world, and where our overseas partners realize their infrastructure development goals utilizing U.S. solutions. USTDA is proud of the results-driven approach we've taken, and for every dollar we're investing in programs around the world right now, we're generating $95 in U.S. exports. That result demonstrates how we have partnered with American industry to help them compete and win in some of the most difficult markets and competitive markets globally. This morning, we will build on those efforts by launching this initiative with our American industry and U.S. government partners. This initiative will draw upon the relationships and successes that we have achieved with many of you here today. USTDA is no stranger to the American gas industry and how it is shaping the global economy. One of our first projects was the rehabilitation of a gas-fired power plant in Latin America. That project generated $20 million in U.S. exports, but more importantly, it set in motion the strong partnership with U.S. industry that has come to define USTDA for the last quarter century. Since then, we have supported a host of other gas infrastructure projects through our unique program tools, whether it's feasibility studies, technical assistance, pilot projects, or reverse trade missions. And the reach of our work spans across the globe, helping to advance an LNG import terminal in Lithuania, gas pipeline projects in Turkey and Georgia, coal or gas-fired power plants in Algeria, and coal bed methane facilities in India. Our cooperation in India is the perfect example of the win-win nature of our program. Several years back, the USTDA funded a study with Essar Oil to assess India's coal bed methane resources. As a result of that study, Essar now has almost 300 CBM producing wells, and their investment includes over $135 million in exports of U.S. goods and services, which includes software, drilling rigs, and pumps from over 20 U.S. companies around the United States. So while India is advancing its energy infrastructure, we are opening that market for the sale of U.S. goods and services. As you all know, and as was mentioned earlier, the gas sector has made headlines in recent years, thanks in large part to the shale gas boom. Domestic trends in the gas sector are having a global impact also, and we are now seeing even greater commercial opportunity as a result for American firms in high-growth emerging markets around the world. Now is the time that we capitalize on this momentum and take our cooperation to the next level, and that is why we are launching this initiative here today. Our goal is to work with U.S. industry and our partner countries to make sure that the next gas-fired power plant, the next LNG import terminal, and the next gas pipeline will be built with American innovation and a Made in the USA label. As we launch the initiative, I am pleased to announce the following opportunities for U.S. companies and our overseas gas partners around the world. Effective today, USTDA is issuing a call for proposals for gas sector development projects. I want to encourage all American companies and our overseas partners to give us their best ideas on how we can connect U.S. expertise and technology across the gas value chain in emerging markets. Also under the initiative, USTDA will support a series of reverse trade missions, bringing overseas project sponsors to the United States and introducing them to the design, operation, and manufacture of U.S. gas solutions. Some of the visits will align with the 27th World Gas Conference here in Washington, D.C. next year. The delegations will include gas sector decision makers from the fastest growing emerging markets around the world. In total, these visits are designed to target over $250 million in export sales for U.S. companies. In addition to the reverse trade missions, USTDA will use the full breadth of its project preparation tools to help U.S. companies compete for gas sector opportunities around the world. In just the past few weeks, we've signed agreements to develop gas-fired power project in Mozambique, an LNG import terminal and gas-to-power project in South Africa, and another coal bed methane project in India. These projects will help our overseas partners design, finance, and implement projects in a way that will help enable U.S. companies to compete on a fair and level playing field. We have spoken with many of you in this room today and heard about the challenges you face in the gas sector and how USTDA, along with our U.S. government colleagues, can collaborate to overcome these challenges. And we look forward to this feedback now, as always. As we plan the first programs under this initiative, we invite you to provide feedback for how we can support your efforts. And that goes not only for U.S. industry, but also for our overseas partners. Public-private partnerships, like this initiative here today, have been the hallmark of USTDA's success. I have been working with the U.S. Trade and Development Agency for over 15 years now, and I have observed one of the constants to our success is having the right partners. So let's take a look. Who are the right partners here in this room? And I have to start with Fred and LNG Allies, who's been on the phone day and night with my team trying to pull this together, making sure the right companies are here. So thank you, Fred. World Gas Conference, I had mentioned Jay earlier. The U.S. Chamber, Karen, and the Gas and Energy Institute, thank you very much. And also the U.S. industry broadly who is here, the dozens of partners, the Departments of Energy, State, Commerce, Interior, EXIM Bank, USAID, and others. It is with this group of partners that we're off to a running start. And we look forward to continuing our collaboration for our shared goals. And this collaboration wouldn't be possible with the team that I have at the U.S. Trade and Development Agency that's being led by Susan Shiflett, who's the head of our Traditional Energy and Power team. But it's beyond that. It's Allison Getty, Ryan Lippert, Randy Gentry, and Paul Marin, who have all come together at USTDA to make sure that this was an effective launch and that it's the first step in many down the road. We see this initiative starting on incredibly strong ground, and I cannot wait to see all that we can accomplish together. Our work under this initiative will help American companies shape the development of high-quality infrastructure projects well into the 21st century. So thank you all for being here and for the launch of this program.